Okay. All right. The next agenda item for tonight is N6 2023 0339. It is at 3507 Memorial Drive, Decatur. It's an application of David Kirk for a special land use permit to allow the construction and operation of a restaurant with a drive-through on a portion of the property located in the C1 zoning district. The property is located on the southwest corner of Memorial Drive and Columbia Drive at 2507 Memorial Drive in Atlanta. The property has approximately 500 feet of frontage along Memorial Drive and 527 feet of frontage along Columbia Drive and contains 11.97 acres. Okay, is the applicant here to speak?
Yes, Madam Chair. I am here, and if my colleague Jenna Lee can share her screen, we have a very brief presentation we'd like to provide.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you.
How are you?
Again, my name is David Kirk, and I'm an attorney at Troutman Pepper Hamilton Sanders, 600 Peachtree Street, representing Hutton Belvedere, which is the new owner of Belvedere Plaza as of last year. Also with me on this meeting, Mr. Ryan Slattery, who's the project manager. I believe Mr. Roger Grant, who's the engineer with Columbia Engineering, is also on. And then, of course, my colleague Jenna Lee is with us, and we appreciate your time this evening. I'll go through this as quickly as possible, but certainly want to answer any questions you might have. Jen, if we go to the next slide, please. Thank you. As Madam Chair said, this is a portion of the larger parcel that makes up a portion of Belvedere Plaza. The overall parcel is about 12 acres. The area we're talking about is a slightly over 1 acre. We're not asking to change the zoning. The zoning would stay local commercial as it is now.
Okay, Mr. Kirk,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
We're not seeing the site plan. We're looking at the overview of proposal.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll be getting to I'll give you a location map as well as the site plan.
Okay.
I just wanted to sort of talk about an overview of what we're proposing this evening.
Okay.
Is a special land use permit to allow for a restaurant with a drive-through. We do not yet have a tenant. It's sort of a chicken and the egg situation that in order to get a tenant, we have to get the SLUP to allow for the restaurant. So we're taking that first step, hopefully through this application. Next slide, please. This is an area map. You see a star there on the map. That's the approximate location of the proposed restaurant. That star is on top of sort of an L-shaped building. That L-shaped building at the lower right would be demolished as part of this proposal. It's sort of beyond its years in terms of its state of repair. And it also, as you'll see in some future slides, has some issues with homelessness and other things. The road you see that's marked Belvedere Plaza is a private drive to the immediate south, and then at the very bottom, sort of in the center, is property that I believe is owned by the county, in which they intend to have a recycling facility as well as a community garden. Next slide, please, Jenna. So currently, as you probably all know from either driving by or just living in the neighborhood, this particular portion of Belvedere Plaza is largely vacant or underutilized. The the building condition was deteriorating when Hutton Belvedere bought the property last year. There have been problems with loitering, with homelessness, vandalism, littering, all those sorts of things on the current site. And all these factors really combine to weigh down the prospects for sustained reinvestment and redevelopment of this site. Next slide, please. These are just a couple of photos, general photos of that existing building. We have some much more graphic photos than these, but there's really no need to share those. You see windows boarded up, that sort of thing. The point is that we're trying to make is this really, this vacancy invites more of the same, and we're trying to change that trajectory. So what we're trying to do is clean up the site, provide an economically viable use on the site, remove that substandard building that is sort of a haven for all sorts of things that are not desirable either by the owner or by, I think, the neighborhood. It's to aim to increase the stability of tenants in the shopping center, and very importantly, really serve as the first step in a process to redevelop this site. This is really a start, and this is the site plan that we're talking about. You see, excuse me, the proposed layout. That gray L underneath is the building that I pointed out earlier that would be demolished. That would eliminate not only that substandard building, but would eliminate that sort of back area behind that L-shaped building, which unfortunately is a haven for all sorts of problematic activities. Next slide, please. Some conceptual building elevations. The front elevation would be to the north. The drive-through elevation would be to the south near the private drive. Next, please, Jenna. This would be the patio facing Columbia. And then just the rear facing the interior of the site. Just in conclusion, we believe this is an appropriate and viable use for this underutilized and frankly, a portion of Belvedere Plaza that has really either no tenants or marginal tenants. We believe that would catalyze future investment and redevelopment. There have been a couple of SLUPs that have been approved recently for drive-through uses in the neighborhood or in this immediate vicinity. I know that the town center overlay does not favor the location of drive-throughs, but in talking with prospective tenants and doing the market analysis, again, this is a start. We are hopeful that with the approval of this by you all and the Planning Commission and the Board of Commissioners, we can turn around the trajectory of Belvedere Plaza and begin attracting more stable tenants than the previous owner, who frankly defaulted on their loan because of the disrepair and the lack of quality tenants. We can turn that around and again make Belvedere Plaza a place that everybody appreciates and is a benefit to the community. With that, Madam Chair, we are happy to answer any questions by the council, and I invite my colleagues to jump in as well if I've missed anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirk. Okay, council members.
And Jenna, if you could just stop sharing, that would be good. Just so Madam Chair can see folks.
Yeah. Okay, do we have any questions or concerns from council members on this item?
Hey, this is Robert Murphy. Just a couple quick questions. So I know that area very well. I spent a lot of time there. I know that, we're talking about a drive-through, so essentially a fast food restaurant. I mean, I there's a lot of fast food restaurants in that area currently. I know as it stands now, there's Zaxby's, Popeyes, Burger King, Checkers, Taco Bell, all that stuff right there at that intersection. There's even directly next to the Checkers, there's an abandoned drive-through space that I think used to be a Sonic. So I guess a couple questions. I don't know as far as the space where the Sonic is now, if that's the same ownership that owns, the if they own the entire space or what. If that falls under their ownership, I'm curious why not use the existing space that's abandoned and boarded up. But if not, I'm just curious, as far as providing economic stability, to the area, how, where a, essentially a fast food restaurant falls into accomplishing that.
Certainly. And
I can field that question.
Yeah,
David.
let me let Ryan field that.
Yeah, so I'm Ryan Slattery. I represent Hutton Belvedere Plaza at 736 Cherry Street in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I'll speak on behalf of those questions. You had asked about the Sonic. Sonic was one of the redevelopments that was approved under the SLUP as a Dunkin' Donut. The Dunkin' Donuts is now approved and will be redeveloping with that franchisee as soon as the full engineering approval is. So there is no vacancy with that type of use. Really the first need, and we didn't have a completely vacant building, but we have a few environmental concerns on the site that we're dealing with specifically this building to remove it, the 16,000 square feet approximately that we're removing and putting in only 4,500 square feet as a result back in. And based on the market analysis, we had a community meeting on the 23rd, and that question came up a few times. And ideally, we'd love to put a white tablecloth, development in here in a high class restaurant, but the demographics, based on the market analysis to market this, and the entitlement process in the county itself that takes so long. We have started this in summer of last year, meeting with staff and working through concerns and trying to come up with a viable plan. We've talked to many of our brokers. Obviously, if we don't need a drive-through component, if there's a user that can, but there is no user that surfaced, and we need to do something now. So it's either we keep the building where it's at right now and re-tenant a building that has no roof, mold issues, needs asbestos abatement. The building is completely not usable, and we save those entitlements, or we do nothing because there isn't another viable user right here. This is a largely automotive-based corner. I would argue that this is one of the best locations because it has a traffic signal. And yes, we've got engineering to go through still at the county and answer infrastructure questions, and we will do that with a very qualified engineer that we've hired and spent a lot of money with, and we will continue to figure that out. But this, if for nothing else, this is the appropriate use based on what we can re-tenant. You've named a lot of great retailers, Class A retailers that are out there that service drive-throughs, but there's many, many more out there in the market. And that is one of the only viable tenants that we have that will backfill this area. And we need to make an impact now to remove the homeless situation that's there, the drug use, the vandalism. Every month we're dealing with something going on there, and we're prepared to deal with it. We're going to spend a lot of capital and invest this, unlike the last landowner. This shopping center has been around since 1955. We just signed up Kroger again to renew their lease. We're trying to get viable tenants, but they will not come and backfill the center with the situation that exists on Columbia Drive. So we very much ask for humbly your approval today so that we can get a new tenant out here and address this issue. We still got many months left of permitting here, and we really appreciate your support in our projects and our effort.
Thank you, Mr. Slattery. Is there another council member that have a question or concern? I have who's speaking?
Go ahead, Virginia. This is Peggy, but go ahead. Go after you.
Okay. I have a concern, and it's really about wrapping your mind around the future and the plans that have taken a lot of time, a lot of surveys and money from the county to plan this. Now, for the DeKalb future land use plan for DeKalb County, as I understand, it's to be, a plan for the future. And I mean, we're talking about what's now, because now is what we see now, but we're looking for what has already been planned for the future. And that is more walkable, less traffic, development to change the way that DeKalb looks now. We want to go to the future, and going into the future, that is the special land use. Does your development, what you want to do with your SLUP, your special land use permit, does that fall within what DeKalb County has in mind for the special, for their future land use, the use of the land, make it more walkable? And now this is a drive-through, so that's from the 70s on up to now. And we know it's feasible now because people are in their cars, blah, blah, blah. But I think DeKalb is trying to move from that. Does what you're doing now, is that in line with the future land use plan for DeKalb with the drive-through?
Let me try to answer that, Madam Chair. As I think I mentioned, in the town center area, that is, this is in the town center area, drive-throughs are not favored. However, as a policy matter, the Board of Commissioners believes as indicated through their actions, that they believe tenants such as Duncan, and there's another SLUP that was approved over next to the Walmart for a drive-through car wash. I think as a policy matter, the board has indicated their support for carefully planned and attractive drive-through uses. We are trying to get to the future. This is the first step toward getting to a future that would have higher quality tenants and other improvements to the shopping center. With regard to pedestrian facilities, there's currently not a sidewalk on Columbia Drive in front of this site. I would imagine we'll have discussions with the county staff about appropriate pedestrian facilities for this site. So I think there's a little bit of a disconnect between the plan that was adopted several years ago with the town center and the policy direction that the Board of Commissioners has indicated they are willing to go into to help get this area into the future. It's a future that drive-throughs will play a part in, and that's what we're trying to do here is provide a catalyst for the new owner to move forward into the future with Belvedere Plaza.
Okay, thank you. Any other council members? Comments, questions?
Junior, I have comments and questions. Okay, I know that you mentioned that you currently don't have a tenant in line. During your market analysis, do you have any prospects?
I would have to defer to Ryan on that because I've not been involved in those discussions.
So yes, we have prospects. I won't bother naming any of them because in order for us to market this, we need to finish the infrastructure as part of the engineering approval after the SLUP to figure out rents for those tenants. So this is the first step to be able to quote rent. And with the the many month process that the SLUP starts on, we are trying to identify the infrastructure needs as part of this process. So I hope that helps answer your question. So no, we do not. We have the market analysis to know who the prospects are, but I'd rather not name anyone because they aren't here. We don't have a letter of intent, and nor will we put our real estate managers out to their board yet until we have the special land use permit in hand, in which case we can start the engineering design and identify the deal structure with them. Hope that makes sense.
Okay, second question. Given the current state of the property, you said it's in ear repair, drug users are there. Do you guys plan to demolish the property before you get tenants or before you move any further?
I think the answer to that is that if we get the SLUP and get a tenant, then we're able to demolish that portion of the property, that L-shaped building that I indicated, excuse me, on the site plan and on the aerial photo. That would be part of the process that we're starting tonight. And Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but from a economic standpoint, it doesn't necessarily make sense to demolish that building until we have an entitlement, an approval of the SLUP and a tenant lined up to make that possible. Is that accurate, Ryan?
Yes, that is.
Thank you.
Okay,
I
Tommy,
have a question. Actually, I have a question for Wayne because this is his neighborhood, and I know how thorough Wayne is. So, Wayne, what do you think about this?
Mhm.
I have conflicting views. Yes, this is my neighborhood, and I am also concerned that this building could be sitting vacant. And yes, I've seen plenty of boarded up conditions in Belvedere Plaza, and I want to see improvement. But here is also a concern that I have. Almost on a daily basis, when I drive down Memorial Drive, which is a much wider thoroughfare, at both the Zaxby's restaurant and the Popeyes restaurant, there's usually a line of cars from the drive-through extending out into Memorial Drive. Not all day long, but primarily at lunch and at dinner time. And so I can already see that these drive-throughs are providing a service to the community. A whole lot of people are going there to eat, but conversely, I can see that there is traffic impediments caused by both Zaxby's and Popeyes. These two Now, there doesn't seem to be a problem at Checkers, but that's because there's plenty of parking space already in the shopping center, and the cars queue up in the shopping center parking lot, to get through, that restaurant. And already I see, problems when I'm driving up and down Columbia Drive, at the Belvedere Plaza private driveway and Columbia Drive. I see problems there already, with the turn lane. I'm confident that y'all are going to work with the traffic engineers to try to do something to alleviate the problem. But from taking a look, from what I know about Zaxby's and Popeyes, and from taking a look at the plat that you have shown us of the drive-through, I'm really concerned that there's going to be a real, traffic jam problem there on Columbia Drive at the intersection with the Belvedere Plaza private driveway. In addition, the portion of the parking lot in front of the proposed restaurant is a main drive-through. People are using it as a drive-through area, to try to escape other exits, from Belvedere Plaza. And I think that this will just compound the traffic problem in this area. But I would like to, to ask this question. Many of those, many of the spaces in this L-shaped building are currently vacant. And am I hearing from y'all that because of the mold problem, leaking ceilings, leaking roofs, that you will not attempt to rent these places, or they're just not rentable? Is that what I'm hearing from y'all? So if y'all want to address those concerns, I will be quiet now, and I may not have, but I may have additional questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank
Sure.
you.
Hey, Ryan, you mind if I address the site planning concern?
Sure.
This is Roger Grant. I'm the site planner for the proposed development with Columbia Engineering. I could say that there are definitely fast food or restaurants with drive-throughs that have been shoehorned in to various sites throughout that area. But this one, we've got a tremendous amount of stacking. I don't know if Ryan's able to share that site plan, but it's all generally about the stacking and the configuration, the location of the pickup window in relation to the intersection and the other alleys and drives within the development. I mean, we've got thank you, Jenna. We've got three sides of loading here. So it's what's shown is a tremendous drive-through stacking ability with that little triangular island is, at least in concept form, its potential for like an extra drive-through entrance. There's a bypass lane so you can get out. So I would say that as restaurants with pickup windows go, this one has a tremendous amount of stacking ability before you would get back into the usable space like that front drive aisle. And certainly you would really never anticipate that this could interfere with the actual road in the way that you were suggesting, just because you would need about 30 or 40 cars stacked without anybody leaving, without people starting to leave, and at the point that it would. So I definitely understand the concern about site planning and about making sure that we don't create a problem for the other users. But, you know, Ryan tasked us with developing a concept that would, you know, accommodate this and be smart with our use of space and not interfere with his other functions of the shopping center that's to remain. And so that's what we've tried to do here. So hopefully that helps address your concern about the drive-through, the stacking, the traffic issue. I can't speak about any of the building mold stuff. That's all Ryan.
Thank you.
If I
Yeah,
could-
with regard,
Who's speaking?
yeah, with regards to, go ahead.
We can't hear you clearly.
You're breaking up a little bit, Ryan. I think
Well,
Mr.
I'm sorry, I heard Wayne talk. I was yielding, but if it's my turn, I'll be happy to address the second portion of that. The front buildings along Columbia Avenue have been occupied. The mold issue is really from some break-ins in the rear area that used to be a church in the back area. You know, if this isn't approved, we would find a way to, you know, kick the can down the road for a little while longer. But you know, it's the front portion along Columbia certainly can still be habitable. It's just it's not what we want to do. It's not our best foot forward. We feel like we can do better here. You know, eventually it's our goal to, you know, create a frontage road in the back of this that kind of connects the rest of the shopping center together. And this is the first step towards it. We have tenancy in the rest of the building, starting with Wingstop at the corner that, you know, they're 5 years out. So.
Okay.
If I could bring up another issue, please. You know, I really appreciate the fine presentation that you gave to the community during the pre-application community meeting. As we pointed out also, you know, and I do not know how y'all are going to be able to work this out with DeKalb County, but the Charm Center that is planning to be built behind Hal's Package Store, I have been to the Charm Recycling Center at another location in Atlanta, and they do have significant lines of traffic outside of their facility. And from what I have seen, you know, on Nextdoor, you know, when we advertised and let people know that, you know, Charm was also going to be building a facility on this county property, people from, you know, not just my neighborhood, but from all of the surrounding neighborhoods were saying, boy, we can't wait. We can't wait. And so, you know, I'm also concerned that if y'all allow the Charm Center to use your private driveway to gain entrance, to gain access to this county property, that there will be, I feel, monumental traffic problems coming off Columbia Drive into your private driveway, into the Charm facility and out of the Charm facility. If this Charm facility will have the same patronage as the other Charm facility in Southwest Atlanta, then there's going to be a lot of traffic coming through that entrance there at Columbia Drive and Belvedere Plaza private driveway. Have y'all been able to, work with the county yet to negotiate if they're going to have access to your driveway or not? Thank you.
Okay, would y'all like to
I think Brian's going to
answer that
Yeah,
briefly, because we have other agenda
understand.
items.
understand.
Yeah, I'll be very brief. We've reached out several times. No one has reached back out to us. We welcome that discussion, but frankly, they have to mitigate their own issues. We're happy to be part of the solution. We are taking out 16,000 square feet. We're putting back in this use. Just like everyone else, they should mitigate their impacts.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think with this one also, I think the walk up, I'm seeing a lot of restaurants now that are not just drive through where the traffic is coming on the street, but they have enough space for parking where where people can come park and walk up and pick up an order. And so it's like it's self-contained, the parking along with the restaurant, because those that do have a drive-through, you do see traffic just all out into the street, close to the street, or on that turning lane. So do you all have the capability maybe of having a self-contained parking for the future land use where people can park and walk up? And that will eliminate the traffic from coming, from the drive-through coming into the other areas. Is that something feasible? Parking?
I'm not sure if you're asking if we're going to have a walk-up window. I think that's going to depend on the tenant. And certainly I would expect that because Hutton not only owns this site, but they own the remainder of Belvedere Plaza, that parking internal to the site should not be an issue with regard to, any number of customers that would want to park and walk up.
Right. That seemed would eliminate a lot of the old, inline traffic cars at the window.
Right.
I see many restaurants now, more of the newer ones, they have the parking along with the restaurant.
Right.
So that's just an idea for future.
I would anticipate that any tenant would likely have not just the drive-through, but would also have the ability to walk up or order online, or all those things that we've seen really come into being, particularly starting during the COVID period, of folks being able to use a whole variety of ways to get served.
Right. Okay. Well, we will go ahead. If no other, thank you so much.
Certainly. Thank you.
Okay. May I see the
Jenna, if you could stop. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, council members, are you ready for a motion on this item? First, let me ask this. I'm sorry. Do we have anyone here that's for or against this? Citizens for or against?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Alexandra.
Okay.
Oh, hi. My name is Alexandra Powell. In all transparency, I am the daughter of Wayne Powell, though I do not believe that our views perfectly align on this. I am in extreme opposition to this development and use. And I am afraid I have to push back on many of the comments given by the applicants of this special land use permit today and in our community meeting. One of the justifications for the special land use permit is the fact that there have been several other special land use permits given to drive-throughs, and that the community council has shown through their actions in granting these applications, these special land use permits, that this is the trajectory they want to go down. Well, any actions that are viewed without context automatically lead to a misunderstanding. A car wash by its very nature has to be drive-through, right? So that's disqualified. The new Dunkin' Donuts that was proposed and that we actually fought to get a drive-through for It is surrounded by an ocean of parking lot that has no parking spaces in it. There is the room, the capacity to handle that kind of traffic flow. Whereas in this area, you are looking at a left turn onto the private drive from Columbia that holds 3 cars in an area that is so close to the intersection of Columbia and Memorial Drive, where we are constantly seeing cars blocking that major intersection because it doesn't have the capacity to hold the traffic that's already there. You're asking for the increased traffic and blocking of right-hand lanes going into fast food restaurants on Memorial Drive to bleed over and spread onto Columbia Drive. In addition, I don't take offense as much as I'm confused by the statement that, we'd love to put in a white tablecloth restaurant. At our community meeting, we never asked for that. We just asked for not a fast food restaurant. There are 7. On the top of my head, I can rattle off 7 fast food restaurants. The closest sit-down restaurant to us is Avondale Pizza Cafe. Why can't Belvedere Park have a sit-down restaurant? Why do we only get fast food restaurants? And the idea that they have to do this or nothing doesn't sit well with me. It's like, hey, let us do this, or you're just going to end up with this blighted property. If, in fact, this property is keeping them from being able to onboard and retain quality tenants in their other open retail spaces, why not invest and just tear it down? Then we won't have a place for unhomed people to congregate, or drug users who don't have anywhere else to go, or people who visit Hal's Package Store right next door to come and hang out with their other buddies. If you want to really build up this community, as you claim, this is a service for the community, just tear it down until you can get a plan that the community wants. Because I think that we made it clear in our community meeting, and I hope we will make it clear in this council meeting, that the community does not want an 8th fast food restaurant with an 8th drive-through in an area that does not have the capacity to support it.
Okay,
So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Powell. Okay, did I see another hand, one more hand, and then we'll move on? Darren, Mr. Bryan?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so just real quick, yeah, again, I'm not buying that argument either. Hey, we wish we had a better plan, but this is all the community wants, is another fast food. I think of Memorial Drive near Oakland Cemetery. Would they allow another fast food restaurant? I mean, the DeKalb City plan is to preserve and enhance the character of the overall community. And another fast food restaurant, I mean, that's the best we can do. Somebody asked for what the prospects for the fast food will be. I can tell you what they'll be. There'll either be a Wendy's, a Fish, Taco Bell, Bojangles, Cookout, or some other restaurant of the same tier. And, for the future, to enhance the community, I just don't see, I mean, this fast food restaurant is going to be the vacant, you top that corner for something better. I mean, wait, if you don't have a better plan, then just wait. Enhance that corner, like the previous person said, hey, tear it down, make it better. But once you get a fast food restaurant on that corner, we are going to be staring at it for the next 20 years. And then it's vacant. So
Thank you, Mr. Bryan. Thank you so much.
Ms. Roberts, I'm sorry. I don't know how to raise my hand in Zoom.
Okay.
I don't
all right,
use
Ms.
it.
Goss, we're hearing you.
This
Go
is
ahead.
actually my first meeting, and
Okay.
I concur with Mr. Bryan and Ms. Powell. I guess I'm just curious because I feel like there should be corporate responsibility towards the community. And it shouldn't be an all or nothing thing, as well as the current shopping center, Belvedere Plaza, is unsafe. And they haven't done anything to, or from what I noticed, to improve safety or what have you around that center. I will not go there at night. And so my thing is if they're going to put another fast food restaurant, other than putting bars up and it being totally unwelcoming to anyone, what are they going to do to invest into our community and provide safety for the customers that are going there? Because what's going to prevent from homeless people hanging out at this restaurant or what have you? And that's a major concern, but I totally concur with Mr. Bryan and Ms. Powell with everything they said. And at this point in time, the all or nothing comment doesn't pass the smell test for me. It doesn't fly with me. And at this point, I'm totally against it.
Okay, thank you for your comment, Ms. Godfrey. All right. Okay, I see some more, but we're gonna have to, 1 minute or half a minute comment. Miss Lee? Unmute yourself.
Hi there. Yes.
Okay,
This is
very
also my
briefly.
first meeting. I just have a question, and it's because I'm pretty naive and this is my first time joining this type of meeting. If this were not to be developed, and I know that other people mentioned why not just tear it down and leave it like that, where is the money coming from to tear this dilapidated building down?
With the applicant, I mean, is that something at this point? Now, the agenda, we want to stay close to the agenda item, which is to allow construction and operation of the restaurant. So construction, meaning that you're going to construct. This is a new building, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Construction and operation.
Yes, ma'am.
So as I don't know, John, who is our plan, would you think that's a question, right? I don't think that's a question. I'm sorry, Ms. Lee, but for the community council, we're talking about the zoning for it and the development of it. And
So basically, if you vote against this, then it will just stay as is.
But Madam Chair, I do think Ms. Lee raises an important point, and it's one that I think, let us reemphasize this again. We don't see this as all or nothing. We see this as a start to provide a catalyst, both financially and from the standpoint of new tenants in the plaza to allow us.
Where the money come from to construct it. Is that correct, Ms. Lee?
Well, it's more of it's trying to address the other members' comments saying, why not just, they're against this because they don't want a fast food place. And I guess my counter argument is, if it's not going to be a fast food place, will it just stay dilapidated? And that doesn't look good for the neighborhood either.
So are you for or against, Ms. Lee?
I'm for it because I don't want it to just stay there.
Okay, thank you. All right, one more, Ms. Anglin. Victoria, unmute yourself. Okay.
Hi, yes, this is Victoria. I'm also live in the Belvedere Park area, and I am against this proposal.
Okay, thank you for your comment. All right, we will move to the council now. Do I hear a motion on this agenda item?
Hey, Regina, this is Tommy Travis. I'd like to make a motion to approve this with one firm condition for the zoning board. What for the applicant is that the restaurant is not, I repeat in capital NOT, not a fast food restaurant.
Well, he said the agenda item says that it is a restaurant, a drive-through restaurant.
It's only the agenda says drive-through restaurant.
Yes, it says it's a restaurant with a drive-through on a portion of the property. Yes, it's a drive-through restaurant. didn't say what restaurant it is, but I think most of the comments have been because of the drive-through and the relating to the traffic and the location for a drive-through restaurant. So would you like to restate your motion, Tommy? Are you going to make a motion on this?
I'd like to leave my condition in place because just leave the applicant get, because I've heard the community. And
talk a little louder. I can't hardly hear you. I don't know if others can.
Can you hear me now?
I seem to be better.
I said, I like to leave my condition in place because I'm hearing from the community, they don't want a fast food restaurant. But at the same time,
they don't want to drive through.
Well, right.
Some of them, but drive through, that's really the agenda item to stay on point.
I kind of interpret that as a fast food restaurant, and they don't want to leave it dilapidated either. So if I had to put any motion forward, I'd like a motion to approve with the condition that it is not a fast restaurant. And that just leave that to creativity of the applicant to figure that out.
Okay, what about the drive-through? Are you saying not a fast food nor drive-through?
You can leave that condition if that's what the application says. I don't think we can modify the application itself.
Right.
We could put a condition in that is not a fast food.
Okay, so to stay with the agenda, you're saying with the condition that it is not a fast food with a drive-through.
Now, the
portion, that's the agenda.
Yeah, the applicants to stay, notwithstanding what's on the application. My only condition is I motion to approve that it with the condition that it is not a fast food restaurant that moves in there, not for fast food restaurant tenant.
But you're okay with it being a drive-through, not a fast food, but with a drive-through?
Yeah, that's my condition.
So, and I guess I'm a little confused. How do we define what is a fast food restaurant and what is not? I think that's kind of a gray area. Fast food is obviously a term that, I think most everybody understands just in terms of just common sense, knowing what a fast food restaurant is. But, how do we define for the terms of what we're, voting on today, like what is or is not? I think that it asks for clarification because I think that's a gray area.
Well, I think the agenda item speaks to that. To clarify, the agenda items, they're asking for a special land use permit to allow the construction and the operation of a restaurant with a drive-through. That's what the special land use, that's their application. So for us, we can't change their application.
Right.
So the application operation of a restaurant with a drive-through. So that's it. So do you want to clarify again, Tommy?
Yeah, again, just for the sake of clarification of my motion, we can't, I guess, within limits and confines of this meeting, I don't think we can go down the definitions of what a fast food restaurant is. We can kind of leave that to the wisdom of the commissioners and the zoning board when they get it in their hands. But what I would like to say is that if we approved it, I'd like to motion for approval, because we can't change the application, and I've heard from the residents in the neighborhood, some like it, some don't. But to approve with the only condition that it is not a fast food establishment, and it still has 2 other steps to go through before it is approved.
Okay, John, well, that's his motion, but it's not completing what they're asking for, the special land use permit for. The restaurant part, yes, but the drive-through is left out of the motion. And that's what the applicant is asking for, drive-through as well. So John, does that have to be addressed to both the restaurant and the drive-through?
Well, yeah, of course, just a couple things. A sit-down restaurant by itself, of course, would not even require a special land use permit. That's allowed in C1 by right. It's the drive-through part of the restaurant that's triggering the need for this special public hearing process in the SLUP. And so and the application is for a drive-through, I guess it's just if the community council agrees that you can have you can have a drive-through restaurant that's not fast food, then someone will second it, and then you can take a vote on it. I guess that's the question is if you guys as a whole think that you can have a restaurant that's a drive-through but is not fast food.
So let me make sure I'm understanding correctly. So as it stands currently, without doing or changing anything, if they want to put just a normal sit-down restaurant there, that can be done without changing.
Yes. In the C1, yes. It's the drive-through that triggers the need for the special land use permit.
Okay.
That's the reason why I make the motion. But it's not a fast food restaurant. I mean, if I had time to enumerate all the fast food restaurants, I would, but I
think we kind of gotten off of it because we talked about fast food, but the application does not say it's fast food or whether it's whatever. It doesn't say, it just says a restaurant with a drive-through. It may not be fast food. They may have steaks and all that good stuff. Then that would not be a fast food restaurant. But the key is it's a restaurant, what this says, a restaurant with a drive-through. I think the drive-through is attached to the restaurant. That's what we're having to consider for the full motion. You have to include it all. So how do you want to say your motion, Tommy?
I repeat, my motion is to approve this motion for a drive-through restaurant with the only condition that the restaurant that takes residency is not a fast food restaurant establishment.
Okay, it has been motioned that it's approved for the drive-through restaurant as long as it's not a fast food restaurant, right, Tommy? I'm sorry? Yes, is that your motion?
Yes, that's my motion.
Okay, is there a second? Is there a second from any community council member? Okay, John, if we don't get a second.
Then the motion fails.
is dead.
Okay.
The motion fails and there's someone makes another motion.
Okay.
This is Robert. I'm sorry. Can I make a motion to deny?
Okay, I second. Okay, it has been motioned and second that the agenda item N620230339 be denied, and we will vote on it. Okay, Pat, Craig?
Yes, denied.
Regina.
Sorry. Yes.
I have a discussion about this. We have a motion second. I have a quick discussion about this. I just want to make the community council and the community aware.
Tommy, you kind of choppy.
I'm speaking right into the microphone. Can you hear me?
Okay, let's keep trying. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to make the community council and the public aware that with this motion to deny, it's just denying here at the community council. The application will move on to the zoning board and then on to the commissioners back to the planning commission and on to the commissioners if it's approved there.
Right.
The opportunity to put a condition on it before. If you deny it as is, it'll go to the next step as is, and thereby limiting our opportunity to put any kind of conditions on it.
Well, I think the conditions. Can I make a? John, you tell me if I'm with this motion thing. Can I kind of clarify and make a motion? That one is dead. What Tommy made? Can I make one?
Well, the only thing is, I think Robert Murphy.
Already made. Yeah,
okay, Robert. Yeah. Okay, you made a motion after Tommy. And can you restate your motion?
Oh, you're on mute.
Unmute yourself.
Yeah, it was to deny.
Okay, now his was to deny without conditions.
And then you seconded, right?
Yeah, but Tommy was saying about adding conditions, which I'm fine
You
on
can,
that. Just
you can
deny-
ask Robert who made it if he's amenable to conditions
Okay,
or.
Robert,
whatnot.
can you make deny with the condition that the restaurant, you're denying it under the condition that the restaurant not be a drive-through? Would that be,
Or-
that's not it?
No, I
Right.
don't think so.
Okay, you
No.
want to straight out
We,
deny?
we can place conditions only on a motion to approve.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
That's
so he
correct.
denied it, and
Yeah.
I second. So it'll go through, like I explained at the beginning of the meeting. I mean, we're the first one. It's going through planning and to the Board of Commissioners.
Yeah.
So we'll leave the motion as is,
And
denied.
am I correct in that whether we approve or deny, it goes to the planning commission anyway?
Right.
It's
Right.
just
Right.
it's just we're on record either supporting it or not.
Right.
So
Okay,
we
so the
probably
motion
just need to
stands
go
what
through the
Robert
vote.
said. The motion stands for first, the motion and second stands for deny.
Now you take the
Okay,
vote.
yes, take our vote. Okay.
And I just want to let you know that I had come in. I was a little late. This is
Oh,
Nettie.
right. Nettie is here, John.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
Uh-huh.
thank you. All right.
Okay. All right. Pat? Pat, unmute yourself. Pat?
Yes, I'm here. I'm so sorry.
That's
I'm
okay.
I'm at my mom's and she's not well.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Are you for the motion or against the motion to deny?
to deny. I'm for denying.
Okay. Peggy?
Yay,
Nettie?
yay.
Okay. Robert?
Yay.
Wayne?
Yay.
Okay. Yay for me. Tommy? Unmute yourself.
I vote against motion to deny. I think this is, not a great opportunity. We should have opportunity to put conditions on it. I vote no against the denial.
Okay. All right.
Is Willie Pringle in? I didn't know if he had come in or not.
I didn't see him. I don't
Okay.
think he's in yet.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3, 4, 5. So it's 6-1-0. Motion to deny passes.
Okay.
And that is going forward to the Planning Commission as a recommendation, and then the Board of Commissioners makes the final action.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.